Hey everybody, this is Steve Hoggard, the pastor of Hickory Hill Baptist Church. And today is October the 14th, I believe. And it is Wednesday, and Wednesday we do Wednesday in the Word. And we've been going through the Beatitudes. They're found in the Gospel of Matthew, starting in chapter 5. Now, if you get a chance, go ahead and start. I think they are starting verse 3. Now, I would read them to you. We've already read them, but if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and read them. We're on verse 7, I believe. Now, I could read them to you now, but one, it would take time, and two, you would see my bald head, and the light would reflect off, and you'd be blinded. It'd be a tragic thing. But anyways, just go ahead and read them. But the one we're looking at is verse 7. Now, just to review, the four Beatitudes we looked at already deal with kind of an inner principle, deal with the heart and the mind, and how we see ourselves before God. And the last four deal with the outward manifestation, it's a big word for me, of the first four. So let me kind of illustrate this. Those who are poverty in spirit will recognize and their need to have mercy, and so they will show mercy. Those who mourn over sin are led to purity of heart. Those who are meek always seek peace. Those who are thirsty, hunger and thirsty for righteousness, they will pay the price for being persecuted for righteousness. So today we are examining Matthew chapter 5, verse 7. And it's the first kind of the outward sign of realizing that you are poverty in spirit. So blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. So happy are those who are merciful, for they will receive mercy. Now, if you look at this beatitude, you need to realize the key word is understanding the word mercy. It's very simple. You get that word down, you pretty well get mostly the beatitude, understanding. So mercy means something that is beneficial, something that is charitable. There are several words that are very closely related to mercy in the Bible. You have grace, you have love, you have forgiveness, and all those are kind of like a string or a rope that's kind of braided together, and they're all mixed together, and you can kind of pull them apart, but it's kind of hard to pull them apart and single them out. They all kind of work together. I hope that made sense. All right, so you have mercy. So let me kind of give you an idea of what mercy is. In Ephesians chapter 2, if you can read that, just starting in verse 1, it's just a couple of verses you read, and what you will come to find out. Paul will say, because you were dead at one time, because you gratified the sinful nature, you desired or you deserved wrath. And then he comes to verse 4, and he uses that magical three-letter word, but. But his great love, his great agape love, his sacrificial love, for God so loved the world. That kind of love, that great love he has for you, who is rich in mercy. That's the word we're trying to figure out today. Mercy. Made us alive in Christ Jesus. And then he goes on and he says, because of God's grace, because of his love, back up, I said that wrong. Because of God's love, because of his mercy, you have grace. And that grace is what saves you. It is nothing that you do. It is what God does for you. Because of his love, because of his mercy, you have grace, that gift. Let me give you an illustration of mercy. If you remember the parable of the Good Samaritan, this Jew's walking down a road. Robbers come, beat him up, leave him half dead. He's naked on the side of the road. You have two religious people walk by. You have the priest, you have the Levi. They walk on the other side. They don't touch the dude. And then you have the Samaritan. The Samaritan that the Jews hated. They hated the race of Samaritans. This Samaritan sees this Jew that is in need. He goes, helps him out. He bends down, bandages his wounds up, puts him on his donkey, hauls him to a inn, and has the innkeeper take care of him. And he said, I'll pay back anything else I owe. That is mercy. he stooped down and helped this guy out. Another idea of mercy is the parable of the lost son. You remember this dad had two sons. He had an older and a younger. The younger came to his dad and said, "Hey, I want my inheritance." He goes off and he spends all of his money on wild living, and then realizes he has no money. A famine hits. He has nothing. He longs to eat what he's feeding to the pigs. The only job he could get was feeding pigs, and he longed to eat what he was feeding the pigs, and then came to the realization that he can go back to his dad's house and at least be a servant and get more than what he has now. And so he starts that journey back. It's a good definition of repentance, by the way. He starts that journey back, change of mind, change of direction, and his dad sees him out at a distance, and he grabs his son up, grabs him in his hand. That is mercy. It is charitable. It is love. It is beneficial. He sees his son and loves on his son. That's mercy. In Matthew chapter 12, Jesus and his disciples are walking through a grain field. They're hungry. They pick the heads of the grain. They eat it. The religious leaders see that, and they're not happy. And they get on to Jesus about it. And Jesus says a very unique word. He says in verse 7 of Matthew chapter 12, he says, you need to understand this. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Would you condemn the innocent? And what Jesus was saying, he says, guys, God desires mercy more than anything else. He desires it more than your sacrifices. He desires it more than you following the rules that you man-made rules you have. In fact, he quotes Hosea 6:6, and Hosea is talking about the people of Israel bringing sacrifices and doing burnt offerings, but they have no mercy. They have no compassion. They have no love. They're doing it out of ritual. And so he says, I desire mercy. And that is what this beatitude says, that God desires mercy. Happy are the merciful, for those will receive mercy. See, mercy is about meeting people's needs. It's not just having compassion, but it's about doing it. So for us to understand this beatitude, we've got to walk backwards for just a second. This beatitude doesn't mean because I just do this, then God's going to do this for me. Because I show mercy, God's going to give me mercy. I do good over here, then God's going to do good over here with me. He's going to remember this. Kind of like this is the opposite, but this is our mentality sometimes. You know, I have this philosophy in marriage, and maybe that's why I've been married 27 years. I don't know. I think it's 27 years. If my wife sees this, I'm sure she'll correct me. But I've been married for over 25 years. And I have this philosophy, and I bank points. And what I mean is this. I don't give my wife flowers on those important days like Valentine's Day. I would do anniversary, but it's an odd time for us anniversary. But we'll say Valentine's Day. I wait till after Valentine's Day or at odd or weird times in the year. I'll send her flowers. And what I will do, guys, pay attention. What I will do is I'll go. She works as a school teacher. I'll go to the secretary, and I will bribe the secretary. I'll bring her a drink, a Diet Coke, or I think her drink is actually a Diet Dr. Pepper. So I bring her a Diet Dr. Pepper, and I said, listen, here's flowers for my wife. Make a big deal out of it. And she'll announce it, have my wife come up. Whatever she does, it makes my wife feel real special. She has flowers. All of her kids see it. Oh, it's a great day for me. Because I know somewhere down the line, I will make a mistake. And I'm hoping by me sending flowers that when I blow it, that she's there and say, you know what? He's not that bad of a dude. So I bank points. That's not what God is saying here. That's not what he's saying. Just because you do something good, God's going to do something good for you. No, you need to work backwards and understand this. So let me kind of explain it this way. Your sin and your disobedience to God still needs a payment. That's why the gospel. That's why Jesus Christ came and died on the cross. For God demonstrated his love for us while we were yet sinners. Christ died for us. Because we have sin in our life, and to have that sin paid for is by believing and trusting what Jesus Christ did on the cross. And then because we believe that, we're reconciled back to him. We are God's child. I'd love to share with you more how that happened, so let me know, and I'll share with you more how to be a child of God. But understand, mercy is always doing good, but this beatitude is you do mercy because you realize that God gave you mercy first. The back part of this, because those who receive mercy, you've received mercy, and because you've received mercy, therefore you are merciful. Because you've realized that you are poverty in spirit, that you were broken, you were wretched with sin, and you did not deserve mercy. But God showed you mercy. And because he showed you mercy in your poverty in spirit, you therefore show mercy to others. You represent being God's child. You do what your daddy does. And because your daddy gave mercy, you gave mercy. You represent that you follow Jesus Christ. And because you follow Jesus Christ, you do what he does. And that is give mercy. That's really all I have today. I just want to kind of share that with you, that we need to be more merciful. In fact, I want to challenge you this week, God's children or followers of Jesus Christ. You need to represent. And what I mean by that is you need to show that you are God's child by showing mercy to others. Not that you get mercy from God, but that you represent God because he gave you mercy, and therefore you show mercy to others. Hey, I love you. Just want to give you a little thought today. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you Sunday.